Welcome everyone to the March 12th, 2026 Penfield Planning Board meeting. We will start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Michelle, please call the roll.
Kanauer.
Kanauer here.
Daly.
Daly here.
McCooey.
McCooey here.
Tydings.
Tydings here.
Weishaar.
Weishaar here.
O'Connor.
O'Connor here.
Prinzing.
Prinzing here.
Perigno here.
Thank you. So the approval for the minutes of February 26th, 2026. Any discussion?
Make the motion to approve. Tydings.
Okay.
Second, McCooey.
Kanauer.
Kanauer, aye.
Daly.
Daly, aye.
McCooey.
McCooey, aye.
Tydings.
Tydings, aye.
Okay, everyone, tonight we have 4 public hearing applications, but what we have done in the past is we first review our tabled applications and any other business before we go into the public hearing applications. For tonight, there's just a few items to discuss, so that's probably not going to take very long before we start into the public hearing applications. Okay, so Matt, if you want to go over the first tabled application.
Yes, so the 1320 Harris Road Dual Row subdivision, at the planning board's last meeting, it was tabled pending review from the New York State DEC, still waiting on the DEC to confirm the wetland delineation that was provided on the site plan. We still haven't received any further confirmation, so at this time, recommend the board taking no action. We can continue tabling it.
Okay.
Tydings, I'll make the motion for no action at this point.
There's no
No
motion
action?
needed.
No action.
There's just no action taken.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so that's our tabled application. The one new business item we have is the Bramble Ridge Section 4 final plat revision. So this is, Mike has the revised plat map up. So they are looking to merge lot 404 there with lot 405. The originally approved plat map had plot 404 with a single family residence on it, and then just to the north was plot 405, and that was just the remaining lands, which are wetlands and stream, and there was also a stormwater management facility, a storm pond on that lot as well. They are proposing to merge those 2 lots so that the remaining lands are merged into that single family lot, the lot 404. And the only comment from town staff is that we prefer this because now the stormwater management facility will be tied to the single-family home residence there, so that, you know, when we have to follow up with inspections later on, it's tied to that property owner, that mailbox, so we can send mailings to them concerning the management of the stormwater facility. Yeah, other than that, it's fairly straightforward. There were no real technical comments from town staff on this one, and all it would require is a vote of the board to approve the chairman to sign the revised plat map.
Okay. It looks like a pretty positive change. Okay.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to the chairman sign off on the application.
Seconded.
Kanauer.
Kanauer, aye.
Daly.
Daly, aye.
McCooey.
McCooey, aye.
Tydings.
Tydings, aye.
Okay, so that finishes our tabled application and other business. So we will now go into the public hearing applications. Like I said, we have 4. public hearing applications tonight. The applicant will present the project at one of these two tables, and then the board will ask the applicant different questions about the project, and then after that, the public hearing will be open to folks to make comments here in person. Call the number. It's right in front of me. Or I believe they can also be emailed in, and we'll take those questions then as part of the public input. So, Matt?
All right, so
Number
public hearing application number 1 from Nixon Peabody LLP, 211 High Point Drive, Suite 110, Victor, New York, 14564, on behalf of Bell Atlantic Mobile Systems LLC, DBA Verizon, request under Chapter 250, Article 13.2 of the Code of the Town of Penfield for a conditional use permit for the installation and operation of a wireless telecommunications antenna with associated radio equipment to be installed on the rooftop and within a leased interior space at 1384 Empire Boulevard, Rochester, New York, 14609. The property is now or formerly owned by 2717 Monroe Avenue LLC and zoned LaSalle's Landing Development District LLD. Application number 26P0002, SBL number 108.06-1-1.2.
Good evening, members of the board. It's Jared Lusk from Nixon Peabody representing Verizon Wireless. With me is Tim Zarnecki. He's Verizon's RF design engineer responsible for the Rochester, Monroe County market. As Mr. Prinzing just said, January 21st, we applied to the town and the planning board for the required conditional use permit to co-locate and operate a wireless telecommunications facility on the roof of, I'm going to call it the Bellagio Apartments, because that's what it's commonly known as, obviously located at 1384 Empire Boulevard. Verizon's been in search of a facility in this area for quite some time. Anybody that spends any time up and down Empire Boulevard in this area, the coverage is horrible. I can say it's not often that I can say that I've experienced it personally. My son lives in the Bellagio apartment building right below where this facility is located, and I can tell you that the Verizon coverage in this area is certainly less than adequate. Can't make a call unless he's on Wi-Fi. And so, again, that's inside the building. Again, as outlined, the project is a co-location of a series of an antennas on the rooftop with the equipment on the inside of the building. So unlike the last few facilities that I've done before the board for several of you, which are new towers, this is exactly what the town prefers, wants, is to try to co-locate where you can. And we were able to negotiate a lease with the Daniele family to allow us to put the project on the rooftop of the building, again, with the equipment inside. There's no disturbance to land whatsoever. It's all interior rooftop construction. I don't think there's much more to the project than what we have in terms of the physical nature of the project. The project need for it is described in Exhibit E to the application, and I don't know if that's available to be shown on the screen. Tab E, which is the RF report. The RFJ, tab E. Do you guys have the application, the board members?
It should be part of
Yes.
the packet, yes.
Okay. The project, if you look at the front page of the RF report, it demonstrates the existing projects that are in the vicinity. You'll understand the topography here in this part of the dip coming down to the bay from 590 up into the Penfield Baytown area is pretty significant, but the sites surrounding it are all surrounding, and this site is located precisely in the middle of those sites, again, in an effort to try to provide coverage to the area. Again, as outlined in Exhibit F, the three sites that are currently serving this area are quite a distance away. Verizon's Creekside site located approximately a mile away southeast of the facility on an existing tower off Samala Circle. Our Allison site located in the town of Brighton, which is 1.2 miles southwest of the project location, and then our Bay and Empire site, which is about 1.1 miles north. Those are the three sites that currently serve in the area. Again, with the topography in the bowl that you see there, coverage is both far away and difficult to achieve. And so, again, this project is necessary to provide a dominant server in that high population area, particularly in around the bay where there's a lot of traffic, and necessary to provide that direct coverage through the route along Route 404 and in that Bay Road area. So, again, I've explained what the project is, why we're doing it. Co-location is your preferred method. It's the primary location for us to be at, again, on the roof. So I don't know if the board has any particular questions about the project, but again, why we're doing it is outlined, and it's at the most preferred location. So I'll stop there and see if you have any particular questions.
Is this similar to the small antenna at Panorama Plaza?
It's
It
a
was
little bit
done by
different from that.
Verizon
It's a little
before?
different. This one's a little bit more robust in what it can do. It's a three-sector, basically, all wrapped into one antenna at this point.
Okay. What's the approximate diameter of that antenna?
Oh, geez.
Give me a
I don't need it right now.
hold on. I believe there's a dimension here. It's 96 inches tall, and it doesn't give a width. I'm sorry. Here, we
Okay.
can measure it in terms of using the scale.
Yeah,
But
I think I
it's-
saw the 96. I was just trying to scale it with the Panorama Plaza one.
Yeah, these are taller than the Panorama Plaza ones,
Gotcha.
but they're roughly the same size, within approximately the same, maybe a little larger, but roughly the same, but much taller than, the small cells are roughly the size of a 5-gallon pail.
Yeah.
These are, these are sort of between a macro site and the small cell, and it's much taller,
Okay.
but a little larger around, but not particularly,
Okay.
Chris.
Okay, Steve, do you have some questions?
Yeah, I appreciate that presentation, Mr. Lusk. As far as locating it on the building itself, do I understand that it's toward the bay side on the cupola? As far
my
as the
answer would be-
positioning on top of that structure?
I noted that it's basically on the cupola. I don't, whether it appears to be right on the top. I think it's right on the top of the cupola.
Okay. And as far as where it goes on that building, is there flexibility that Verizon has as far as where it goes? Does it need to go on the tippy top of the cupola?
That's an RF question that Tim could answer. It's got to be of a certain height to be able to see down the hill, but again, Tim can participate. He's the
Or the problems would be if we went somewhere off the cupola, like on the main roof or anything like that, is now you're putting the cupola in front of the RF. That would cause shadowing of our RF and possibly cause holes in our coverage into certain directions.
because that transmits in a 360-degree circle. So if you put that, I think if you understand what he's saying, if, for example, if you put it to the right or the left of the cupola, then the cupola is going to block that transmission.
Understood. And there's no lighting associated with this?
Not at all.
I'm correct. And as far as it's called a cantenna, is that?
That's
Yeah.
the slang term.
Yeah.
for
The
slang
it.
term.
It's like a can, but it's an antenna.
Like it.
Everything's embraced inside of it, so.
Got it. And are there different heights of cantennas, like versus other ones? How was this height arrived at versus, say, a smaller cantenna?
So this one has a more robust technology inside so that we can get more on it. So like the cantennas, little 2-footers we put on a lot of our small cells on utility poles, that can generally only do like AWS, PCS, or mid-band radios. This one gives us 3 sectors. It gives us low band, mid-band, and our C-band. Oh, sorry. So it does multiple bands and multiple sectors. So we get 3 times the capacity, and we get all our bandwidth out of it. So
Do you understand what he's saying when he says that?
I think it sounds like it's better for
It's a more powerful.
perception and
Yes.
everything, it sounds like.
yes.
Yeah.
And one thing the code talks about is the use of stealth technology. Can you explain whether and how stealth technology is applied to this particular project proposal?
The stealth, because it's a cantenna, for lack of a better word to describe it, all of the antennas are inside the cylinder. That in itself is stealth because you don't have the in a typical macro design, you'd have 3 sectors antennas that you'd see on a pole, or on many co-locations, you'd have 3 sets of antennas on 3 different corners. The fact that we're able to stick this into a silhouetted can, all the antennas are inside of it. What you see is the can and not the antennas themselves.
Okay, so the cantenna is almost a different option besides what you're describing. It's like a more, I guess, offensive in a way, the appearance-wise.
Our normal macro would be normally at least 3 antennas, all basically 8 foot. They're usually 6 to 8 foot. There'd be 3 of them. We'd have singular ones, so it'd be in an array, 3 across, where this is everything's combined all within inside it.
Again, it's not as powerful, not as I guess, as efficient as a typical macro site. Like at the top of a pole, you see those 3 sets of antennas. That's what a typical macro is, and those antennas are pointing in 3 different directions to get the 360 coverage. Here, it's a less powerful, less powerful antenna, but again, still get the 360, all of the antenna frequencies, but it's all inside of a can as opposed to on separate antenna arrays on 3 corners of the building.
Got it. One thing that I noted that would be useful from my perspective is there's the photo simulations, which I do think are helpful in understanding what this thing will actually look like. The one photo 3 in the Costage photo simulation just has, it at least appears to me like it's just existing conditions. So I'm talking about photo 3 and the photo simulations.
Correct.
Which is from Empire Boulevard, it looks like. It would be helpful to have a simulation from that perspective.
I think there is, if you turn the next page.
Oh, I don't have it in my version.
Should I bring it to you?
I would actually like to see it if you're able to approach. And
Yeah, I checked the digital copy that we received, and it was cut off at that point, but I'm not sure if it was an issue on our end. But
interesting. Yeah, could you just make sure we have an electronic copy of that? That's helpful. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry that you didn't. Of course,
Yeah, no.
your application, sometimes the scanning doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. Any other board members have any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Jared, Tim, welcome. Is this the new direction Verizon's going with these can antennas? Is that the new direction they're going? I see.
When we need to. They have
Instead
their
of the full
applications.
size?
They have their applications.
Yeah.
We use them for, places where we need to stealth, where we need to kind of stay compact. We don't have, an area where we can do 3 large sectors like we would normally do on a tower.
Okay, so now this one, how far from Bellagio, I guess, south would this one go? Will this go all the way over to the Panorama Trail one? The one that just got put up on the pole recently in Panorama Plaza?
No.
No, not
No.
that far.
Nope.
And you got 2 other ones going up on Panorama Trail, I understand?
Yep.
Similar.
They're
Love
not
the terrain
like
of the
touching.
area.
Huh?
They're not complementary. In other words, they're not like it all reaches. They just happen to be serving a particular area.
Okay.
But the coverage in tab E of the application shows the coverage that's going to be provided. It's both a capacity issue and a coverage. And again, I don't know if you, I'm sorry, I could be looking. This is, as you see, these are the 3 existing sites. If you, this one showing, I'm sorry, I need to put my glasses on. The red is the Creekside Alpha, the Ellison is the Ellison Alpha.
Right.
So remember, there's, for those that I haven't presented before, there are 3 sectors of antennas on a tower, typically alpha, beta, and gamma. So when we say Ellison Alpha, that is the sector on that tower that is pointing in this direction. Same thing with Creekside Alpha and then Bay and Empire Gamma. So you're showing those 3 colors. They're showing you that the coverage to this area is coming from those sectors, purple, yellow, and orange. And you'll see it's, again, this is, Tim's a brilliant man. This isn't rocket science. You can see that these 3 areas come together, and right where they all meet is where the trouble spot is because the coverage isn't strong and it's weak. So the way to solve the problem, to provide direct coverage and to relieve the capacity on those 3 surrounding sites, is to put a new site here, grab the traffic, and therefore that traffic is no longer going to those 3 surrounding sites, thereby relieving traffic capacity on those sites and providing direct coverage. If you go to the next page, you can see that this is, the green is what will be provided by this site. Again, right in the middle, solving that issue that you see between those 3 sites. Again, thereby reducing traffic on the surrounding sites and providing strong direct coverage in this part of Penfield in that bowl around the bay.
Okay, so we're going to have that one. We got the one up near Charlie's, right? Up there. And then south, we got them on Plank. 4 corners. Last one we did, right? The 4 corners. You still got that one up, right?
That's still operating. Yep.
It's going up. So we're going to have 3 on Panorama Trail. Is this? My other question was, I realized Verizon just purchased Frontier. Is this going to help with this new merger, or whatever you want to call it, to help with the internet as well as cell phone activity?
It's a different business of Verizon. That's
It's totally different.
wireline, we're wireless, so.
Got it. Okay, well, that's good to know. So it's not going to help the internet in that area. Okay.
It might help the internet if Frontier has coverage. It's just not related to the
Well, yeah. Well, they recently did that. All the Frontier, put it in most neighborhoods. So I just wonder if this was going to, you guys going to work off each other.
This is the Verizon Wireless Internet, FWA.
All right, there you go.
This will help that for sure.
Okay. And any other locations that you thought might be better, I guess, in that area on Empire Boulevard, or that seemed to be the best location?
We looked at this, obviously, because co-location is your first priority. We first have to eliminate the possibility of co-location. So once a co-location became available, we participated. But tab F of the application does include a site selection analysis, and we went over each of the sites. We were a long time trying to get a site here, mostly in part waiting for the Bellagio to be constructed. That's how long we've been trying to keep this project moving. Your first priority, of course, is always to go to the town of Penfield, right? Your preference is to, and there's a town of Penfield property in this location. And it was considered, the town officials at that point expressed some interest. Again, it wasn't a co-location. It was not a co-location. It would have involved a new tower. And so again, your code recommends co-location first, and so this is where we did, why we proceeded. And again, the second parcel was our selected location, and then there was a third location located in the town of Penfield, owned by I'm going to butcher this, Mr. Varder. Again, it sits outside the search area, and more importantly, it would have been a new tower. And again, your code prefers co-location. So again, constantly pushing back at your preference for co-location. And then there were 2 additional sites, 1403 and 1407. So again, it was not, it would require a new tower, not co-located. So again, just following your ordinance that prefers co-location as opposed to new towers, that's why we selected this site.
Is it Brown Cross, Malcho, Scribner area, somewhere in these?
Well, the search area was much narrower than that because of it being in the bowl around the bay. So
Right.
it was basically draw a circle around the bottom of that hill and that vicinity. Again, there it is. That's the basic area. Because of the two hills around it, you can't be on top of the hill because it'll go over the top, and so you need to be down in that bowl essentially to deliver that service.
So you're still working on that area, Browncroft, Qualtro, and Scribner?
Tim,
Tim?
I will be now. If I'm
No
not
more
already.
questions.
Okay.
we do have a small cell there. I do know you've asked that previously, and we were requested by both the sheriff's office and the fire district to put a small cell. There is a small cell at the intersection of Qualtro. I think it's one street up from Qualtro, at the corner, right where by Old Shadow Pines. I know that's there.
Just for my own clarification, the co-location is co-located with another structure, existing structure, not another cell, like another carrier cell tower?
Co-location means we didn't have to build a new tower. So
Yeah.
co-location can be either we're bolting it onto an existing tower or putting it
Yeah.
on the roof of an existing structure. So you're not building a new structure to put it on.
But in this case, are there other carrier cell towers in that same?
No, the closest towers, as we described, there's no towers in this immediate vicinity.
Verizon or otherwise?
Otherwise, correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, I had a few more questions. The color of the antenna,
It's like a white, off-white, gray
Kind of-
type of,
battleship gray, or?
it's not, it's more of a
Not quite.
white gray. It's almost, again, it's the same color that you see on the antennas at the fire district when you drive. It's
Okay.
it sort of blends with the sky nicely, particularly in this. So that is an actual simulated photo of it. It's from a photo of one of these, so
Yep.
that's the color.
And if it was a cloudy day, we wouldn't even see it.
Correct.
The equipment room, could you describe in the equipment room, fire protection, fire alarms, smoke alarms, things like that?
Oh, yeah. It's fully fire suppressed, fire alarms, air conditioned, like all this. We have alarming that goes back to our knock, where we have headquarters and everything like that. So anything goes wrong in there, they're immediately acknowledged, and then we have people out there, so.
Okay. And because it's on the roof of the structure, what precautions, if any, if there's any roof maintenance done on that roof, if there's a facilities person up there that's in close proximity to the structure, is that a concern with the propagation, or?
It would only be if they got near the antenna.
Okay,
The way it's situated, we're higher up, and which gives us a lot more leniency in how close somebody can get. The way it's situated is, not to oversell it, but it's perfect for us because we're above everything and nobody can
Right.
really get to it. So if anybody were to get to it, there's generally signage that says, hey, if you're going near this, pay attention.
That person would have to be standing on top of the cupola
Right.
in front of the rays of the antenna for it to be a problem.
would there be any small, just for someone that was on that roof, any placard or anything as a warning?
No, what we have in place is we call it an RF safety plan signed with the landlord, so that if anybody's going to go do anything on the roof,
Okay.
he would contact us, and we'd work with them and say, okay, if you're going to be going on the roof on said day, we'd turn the site down and let
Gotcha.
them work. So we
Okay.
work with them when we don't have, because this is basically considered an inaccessible antenna. There's not like a door going to it where you walk right out in front of it like that. So there's different ways where we take precautions to make sure people cannot get in front of the antenna and cause problems.
Okay. Okay, Anyone else?
One last question. What design precautions are taken to prevent it from falling in wind or snowstorms or rainstorms?
It has to be designed to a certain ANSI standard, and again, designed for wireless and other tower-like facilities. And then Exhibit K to the application, and you'll have to forgive me, I don't know what you have and don't have, but there is a structural design letter that says this is going to be constructed to the 2025 building code and and this is very technical, the AISC LRFD 16th edition and the ASCE 7-22 standards. So there are standards for these, and it has to meet, because obviously Verizon, just from a practical perspective, wants the antenna to stay up, but secondarily, we would not want the antenna to be crashing down. So the way that it's, because it didn't stay up. So it's obviously on top of it, it's been designed to tolerate ice and wind that is typical in this area.
And does Verizon personnel need to conduct inspections from time to time?
They routinely do. They'll be, again, they go up as needed. They're almost like any other utility infrastructure, a transformer on the side of the road. They'll go up if there's a problem, and occasionally they'll go up to the tower. They'll do maintenance on the antennas, et cetera. But generally speaking, they're only going to go up there if there's a problem that's identified. And again, they build them to stay on the same as a transformer on the side of the road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, at this point, is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak to this application? Questions? Okay. And we have no call-ins. So at this point, any closing remarks, Jerry?
No, again, there were engineering comments, and they were, what I would say, quite modest. They asked us to put some signature lines on the plans, and we did submit revised plans with those added and submitted those, or we will submit them in response. If there were any comments in the planning board, we'll address them, but we're ready, prepared to submit the drawings with those signature lines. But the comments themselves were quite simple this time.
Okay, thank you very much.
What is next from here?
So from here, we'll close the public hearing, and then after we finish with the other public hearings, we'll have a work session, discuss the next steps. We'll follow up with any actions taken with the board. If there's any other actions that would need to be done.
Do you anticipate this being approved this evening or tabled to the next meeting typically to allow the board to do the EAF form and complete that, et cetera, and any resolutions?
Yes,
We'll
so
probably,
part two,
yeah.
sorry.
I was going to say, pending any other questions, we'll probably create a draft of the approval, and that would be prepared, and then at the next meeting, if everything looked good, it would be signed off.
Okay, so when is the next meeting? So you'd like us to come back at the next meeting?
So the next meeting would be a work session. It's not another public hearing.
Okay.
And it would just be for the, the applicant, you can come back, and if there are any clarifying questions from the board, you could field those questions and answer them. But for the most part, the board would be considering the draft approval resolution, the Part 2 and Part 3 EAF, and considering the approval at the work session, which is 2 weeks from today.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, they wouldn't typically approve it tonight.
Yeah,
Right.
that's as typical. I don't know with the changeover in the board, if anything. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will close this public hearing for this applicant, and the next one, Matt?
Yes, so public hearing number 2, Marks Engineering, PE 4303 New York Route 5, Canandaigua, New York 14424, on behalf of 1315 Sweets Corners Road, LLC, requests under Chapter 250, Article 12.2 of the Code of Town Penfield for preliminary final site plan approval for the construction of a 6,400 square foot pavilion to be used as general seating for the existing agribusiness and for winter storage of agricultural equipment and supplies. The property at 1303, 1315 Sweets Corners Road, Penfield, New York 14526 is a 47.06 acre parcel. The proposed pavilion structure will be situated within the Mixed Use Development District, MUD. The property is now or formerly owned by 1315 Sweets Corners Road, LLC, and zoned Rural Agricultural District RA2 and Mixed Use Development District, MUD, application 26P005, SBL number 125.01-1-24.1. So we were prefaced this meeting that the applicant's engineer wasn't able to make it this evening, but he will be calling in. PCTV, have we received that call, or do you know if he was calling in?
I think he was intending to call in if he fielded
Okay.
specific questions, but I'm happy to.
I think, yeah, let's have him call in, and then if the questions come up, that way it's not,
Yep.
when the questions come, then we'll, then have to request.
I'll send him that message right now to call in, and hopefully he's listening.
Yeah,
and
so
he
then
can call right in, but
PCTV.
I can.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Basically, if he can call in, then PCTV, if you can let us know when that call is received, and then we can patch him in. Does that sound good?
That is fine, thank you.
All right. So yes, if you want to open it up.
Great, thank you. Good evening. Thank you to the planning board for your time. My name's Dale Wickham. My family owns and operates Wickham Farms here in Penfield. Each season, we strive to create a really special place where families can come together and make outdoor memories on the farm. In 2018, the planning board approved the site plan and the uses that operate on the farm today. And so the application before you tonight is a site plan amendment to add a pavilion structure within the existing activity area. It's a continuation of the existing use of the site. And with that pavilion is primarily designed to provide shade and weather protection for the guests who are visiting the farm. We know that listening to our guests is, a really important part of taking care of them and providing a really good experience. And over the past several seasons, one of the things we've heard over and over again from our guests is that they're looking for more places on the farm to sit, to relax, to have some shade, to have some respite from, the sun or the weather while they're out on the farm. And, with that, we see families of all ages coming out to the farm. So there's parents with littles, babies, school-age children, to young adults, grandparents, and great-grandparents. And the common thread that we have been fielding from them is that all these groups are really looking for that shade, that place to relax and just slow down on their day. So yeah, during the season, the structure will provide covered seating, and during the winter months, it will serve a farm purpose by providing covered storage for equipment and seasonal materials, tables, stuff like that. And the pavilion is located well within the existing developed activity area. It really fits nicely with the character of the farm, and it doesn't change the overall operation of the farm, just looking to improve the comfort and enjoyment of our guests. So thank you very much for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions with it.
Okay.
Just to get notified from PCTV that Brennan, the engineer, is on the line. So if you have questions for
Okay.
the engineer, then we can patch him in.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Johnna, want to start?
I have a couple of questions. Thank you for coming. I love Wickham Farms, and I had a great time there with my family over the years. I saw in your application that the structure doesn't require any HVAC or plumbing or anything like that. It's covered, but it's open air.
That's correct, yep.
Are those doors on the front, or is that just an open archway?
Yeah, so that's an open archway. In the drawing, it's kind of looking like, it looks like it's a crossbuck fence type design, but it's still an open wall. You know, air can pass through that. That's not a solid wall or anything like that.
And is the entrance just totally level to the ground? So from like an accessibility perspective, you mentioned like all ages use, you can get strollers in there or a wagon or wheelchair or whatever. They can just roll right in there.
Yes, that's our intent. Yep.
Okay. My other question, is this being built for your expected and anticipated existing customer base, or do you think you're installing the structure for anticipated growth?
Yeah, so it's really just to take care of the existing guests and improve the comfort of the folks that are coming out to the farm.
Okay, great. And then I saw that your winter plan is to use the space for storage, and what else will change on the site? Like, where are those things happening now that instead you'll use this pavilion for, and will that create any other changes on the site?
So are you asking for as far as like this just storage in particular?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the types of things that we would store in there. You know, right now we have certain. There's tractors or something like that could be out for the winter. That is, you know, doesn't have cover. So something like that we would want to park under there, or even, you know, when we have picnic tables out and about. You know, right now sometimes we have to stack them a couple high. Like it's nice to have space for stuff like that. So like I would think tractors, picnic tables, stuff like that we just don't want out in the elements. You know, scattered all over with the wind, or just taking, you know, the wear and tear of the winter here.
Okay. Is anything in that space right now that you're going to move somewhere else?
Yes. So, you know, as part of the drawings, I believe on the application it does show it. So currently we have 2 jumping pillows that are in the proposed location of the pavilion, and they would simply slide just to the south. They would still be well within the central area of the activity area. And yeah, they're actually shown right there on the screen, and that's our intent, is just kind of slide those down to make room for the pavilion, so that pavilion can be central to activities, so that families really have a good spot to be able to again eat their meals or just enjoy the space and relax.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Thanks for meeting with me the other day, Dale.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Is there drainage within the structure itself?
Yes, so that is something that there should be downspouts in there, and if Brennan could speak to that as far as the drainage design with the structure. That's probably more his lead than mine.
Yeah, so the structure will have downspouts and gutters around it. They'll connect into the existing storm sewer at the drainage inlet that's right off the northeast corner of the pavilion. That's going to flow to the existing stormwater facility. We did some calculations for the town that show that facility is big enough to handle the stormwater flow from this new pavilion.
Got it. Thank you for that explanation. And you had mentioned that you might store tractors in the pavilion in the winter?
Sure. Yeah. That just having covered space like that to store, you know, if there's a farm equipment, something like that. Yes.
Would you perform maintenance in that structure?
No.
And the inside of the structure, it'll be primarily seating, like tables, or what are you guys planning?
Yeah. Just mix of, you know, tables and, you know, general space. But yes.
Will it be used for events or like music performances or anything like that?
Nope. It's really just for the guests that are coming out to the farm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I had one question. So it sounds like the only utility other than floor drainage that you might have is electric for lighting in the structure?
Yep.
Okay, so there's no kitchen or anything like that?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. All right. We have one person here that would like to speak to this application, Amy Rainier. And just pick one of the tables and put the mic up. And if you could state your address too.
My name is Amy Rainier. I live at 58 Edenfield Road. It's nice to meet you, Dal. I didn't even know that was you sitting there. My name is Amy Rainier. I live at 58 Edenfield, and the entire back property line of my property backs up to Wickham Farms. I do have a few concerns regarding this project. I will say in the past, when people present the town with a plan, they make promises to the residents and to the town, and the plans get approved by the town. Then eventually they come back a few years later, and the promises made to the town and the residents are now promises broken. Prime example of this is the Aken Apple Cidery. They promised us at every single meeting that we attended that they would have no music provided at that venue, and just last year, music was now approved. My concern for this project is what are the plans for the space? It's indicated no noise will be made. You asked if there will be bands allowed. I want to know if that's going to happen, be allowed in the future. Will weddings or events, grad parties happen? Will this pavilion eventually have walls? I'm also concerned with that size of the project. 6,400 square feet is quite large, more than double the size of my house. There have been many structures added to that property, and I think it takes away from it. I don't reach out to the Wickhams anymore about concerns with my property. I did it one time, but when I've reached out for responses, I've been told, I can't please everyone. What do you want me to do? I can't be sure they came from the farm. I've been hung up on by the Wickhams. My property's been bulldozed by the Wickhams, flooded, trespassed on. Visitors from the farm have heckled my family, picnicked in my yard, climbed in my treehouse, slept in my hammock, cut through my yard, tormented my dog, and I've been told I better not step on the Wickham farms unless I have a wristband. The Wickhams has turned into an amusement park in my backyard. I find it very ironic that the Wickhams have never reached out to me to see if there's any issues with my property, but now when the Wickhams want to get something and they want neighbor support, I receive what I call a bribery letter and free visitor passes. I know I'm only one little voice, but I'm directly impacted every day. It's hard for me to sit on my deck and enjoy the summer in my own backyard. There needs to be some guarantee that down the line, the promises made now are upheld by the applicants and the town, so residents have faith in the promise, the process, and the promise. There needs to be accountability. And I am returning my passes, because that's what I feel they are.
Thanks, Amy.
Mike, could you pull up an aerial? Because I'd like to see where Amy's property is in relation to, okay.
I invite you all, you can all come to my house.
So I'm trying to find, the pillows are the yellow.
Where all those trees are now, that's me.
Okay, so it's going to be where the pillows are.
No, I'm scroll down.
I think he's asking where the structure is
Where
going
the
to be.
structure is going to replace the pillows,
Yeah.
right? Okay, and you're in the cul-de-sac to the south. That one? I don't know if you can see the cursor.
Which number are you?
It's on one of
58.
the drawings.
I'm 58. Right here. Yes, that's my yard.
I just wanted to see what kind of natural buffer.
Well, there is a berm there now with trees, but
Okay.
people still cut through my yard.
Okay,
People stand on the berm when they get lost in the maze, Marco Polo.
okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak about this? Yes. And just give us your name and address.
Some of you may already know who I am, Sandra Gasserlich, 1763 Creek Street. I've been in front of this board several times in the past. I've gone through something similar with a development across the street from my home. I feel for Amy and what she has been going through and what she's going to continue to go through. I feel like the board doesn't listen to residents, and I implore you to listen to the residents of this town. It is very frustrating to sit in front of the board and talk about a commercial business that is impacting on your property and having the town ignore you or go around you or purposely do things to stop you from succeeding in being the voice of reason. And some of you on the board may know what I'm talking about, and some of you are going to act like you don't know what I'm talking about. And I would implore you to please listen to these residents. Wickham, I don't go there during, I have never gone there. I will never go there because of the impact that this development, this thing has on the town. And during the summer, when they have their lilac festival, sunflower, whatever it is, you can't even get down the street, and it impacts the residents. Now, you may not have to live where your farm is, but Amy does, and so many other people do, and they're impacted daily. And I would implore this board to listen to the residents when we speak up and tell you, this is a problem, this is the concern. You don't do that, and it's super frustrating. And you're going to probably see some of us who come in front of this board several times for different things because we're frustrated, we're mad because we don't feel that we're being listened to. Now, I know Bob, Terry, some of you on this board are relatively new and you don't know who I am, but you guys have heard me speak before. And when I've brought up the same concerns with the development across the street from my home, and I brought up things that were legitimate concerns, I got from the previous chairman, I don't know, it's super frustrating. So I am pleased that you are asking questions and you're doing things a little differently than you've done in the past with the other board, but I implore you to listen to the residents and act on their behalf. You know, I know Wickham is, they have a lot of money, and you have a lot of influence, and somebody who owns a home in Penfield, Amy, myself, we can't compete with this kind of development. We can't. So please, listen to the residents. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, anyone else? Okay, any more questions from the board? And Dale, any closing
Can I ask a question,
comments?
actually?
Pardon?
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Certainly.
My understanding is that there's wetlands somewhere in the vicinity. Is that right? Or no?
Depends on, there is on an adjacent property, not on our property.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, we have to look at that a little bit more.
Yes, so Mike is showing the informational wetland boundary on the map there. I think, Mike, if you also turn on the federal NWI, so just to the north there, the stormwater facility there is classified as a federal wetland. There's wetlands on the property, but as far as proximity to the actual project, that's something that the town engineers went out and looked at the site, walked it with a wetland specialist, and so we're taking that into account in our review, and then also we can reach out to the New York State DEC for any guidance.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Okay,
Yeah, I just, want to say thank you again for your time. I mean, yeah, love doing business here and want to keep doing that. So thanks for consideration and your questions. And
thank you. Okay, we will close that public hearing and go on to number 3.
Yeah, so public hearing number 3, Land Tech Surveying and Engineering, PLLC, 1105 Ridgeway Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14615, on behalf of Kenneth Malcho. Requests under Chapter 250, Article 11.2, Article 12.2, and Article 13.2 of the Code of the Town of Penfield for preliminary final subdivision and site plan approval and expansion of an existing conditional use permit for the re-subdivision of 480 and 484 Plank Road into a single lot, a 2,850 square foot building addition to the east side of the existing 3,640 square foot commercial building, and a new canopied fuel island dispenser along with associated parking and other site improvements at 480 and 484 Plank Road. 480 Plank Road is now or formerly owned by the Malchos 480 Plank Road Holdings LLC and zoned Limited Business LB. 484 Plank Road is now or formerly owned by Edward Gadd and zoned Limited Business LB. Application number 26P006, SBL number 093.19-1-46 and 093.19-1-47.
Excuse me. Good evening, Planning Board members, town officials, and citizens of Penfield. I'm John Hotto of Land Tech Surveying and Engineering at 1105 Ridgeway Avenue, Rochester, here representing Mr. Ken Malcho for his project to gain a re-subdivision of 2 lots and site plan approval to construct a 2,800 square foot addition to his existing store at the corner of Empire Boulevard and Plank Road. To provide this addition to his existing 3,600 square foot store to create a approximately 8,800 square foot building, and adding two fuel pump islands with a canopy and approximately 22 new parking spaces for a total of 44 spaces for the entire site. On February 19th, 2026, the ZBA granted an area variance to exceed the 65% maximum impervious lot coverage for this general business district. So we're around 80% right now. And we did submit a review comment response letter yesterday afternoon to the Planning Board to review for this meeting tonight. I believe we responded pretty positively to all of the review comments, except for those related to the on-site stormwater treatment. We didn't have a lot of time to wrap that up, but we wanted to work closely with the engineering department and planning department to get a better understanding of the standards to do that correctly, while also potentially applying some more contemporary on-site stormwater filtering methods to be on top of that in terms of regulations of stormwater in the town of Penfield. There's a few parking spaces on the east side proposed that the ZBA requested that we think about maybe banking those if we really don't need them. We're showing the 44 total spaces as required by the Penfield Code. But again, I don't think we need all of those. It seemed to be quite generous. So we're like those spaces along the east side, we might bank them as maybe future needs, depending on how things evolve business-wise. But we don't want to pave any more than we need to anyway either, So I was thinking we could use some of that area for stormwater management, but I want to work closely with the engineer at the town to make sure I'm on the right track. Primarily, the current site on the corner, 480 Plank Road, has a on-site treatment system it's basically a vortex system where all the storm water goes through this mechanical piece of equipment that's in the ground, and it's hard to explain, but it basically removes sediments and other pollutants, and it's cleaned out periodically. So we're going to replicate that with the new development on the east side of the site, but with whatever new equipment they have, and upgrade it accordingly. So that's where we're at with it. We, like I said, we responded fairly positively. We added some landscaping around the perimeter as requested. One big plus for the project is the dumpster storage, waste storage that's currently on the Empire Boulevard side of the project will now go back in the northeast corner. And it'll be better for less visibility and more direct access for the store employees. So that's where we're at with that. I hope everybody had a chance to review our response letter, and I'm available for any questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you. The expansion, how many square feet is that?
About 2,800.
2,800?
Yeah, 2,850 to be precise.
And what is the use of that expansion for?
The Mr. Malcho plans, it's basically just a remodeling of the existing store facility, just to give them a little bit more elbow room inside the store for sales display and storage of store merchandise. But it'll be wholly within that store system.
Okay, so it's basically enlarging the store.
Correct, yeah.
And then likewise, with the increase in size of the building, that's the reason for the parking spaces.
Yes.
Okay. And I know there's still some things pending. You mentioned your response. I actually hadn't had time to see it, so that's one thing that this board will need to review.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else?
I just got the question about, you're going to put in more gas pumps, correct?
Correct.
And what's the, how you going to do that with, it's going to shut down the operation. You got to dig everything up, right, to put it in, obviously, put it in the ground, correct? The tanks?
Well, they'll be using the existing tanks with new lines to the new pumps. There won't be a new tank.
No new tanks?
Right.
Okay, so it cuts back on all that. Okay, what about the lighting? Any lighting changes on the?
I think we're proposing maybe like wall washers on the new east side of the addition, but no significant lighting. There's basically adequate lighting out there now, so that, we're not going to add too much lighting.
And the landscaping, you're going to try to keep as much green space as possible when you decide whether or not you're going to use more parking spaces or not. Is that correct?
Well, the project review committee mentioned they would prefer more landscaping along the east side, so we did add some evergreen trees there, and also along Plank Road. By the new fuel canopy, we added some landscaping as well, per the recommendation.
You guys own that liquor store next door too? Is that your?
Yes, that's part of the overall footprint, yeah.
So they're not concerned about losing any spaces or anything by
Nope.
the new addition on the property?
No.
And you're going to be moving the curb cuts? Is that still?
That's a good
on the
point.
table?
In fact, when we ran this project by the Monroe County Department of Transportation, Plank Road is a county road, and they immediately recommended that the existing curb cut on the west side of the site be eliminated and be replaced with the easterly one that we're proposing. It'll help that intersection circulation tremendously. And they support and fully, they fully support and recommend that change to the site. In fact, the westerly one will be abandoned and cut off and provided with more green space, actually.
And you won't have any entrance or exit in the back there where the new addition is? Everything's still going to come in through the front door?
No, there'll be a door on the new east side of the addition for clientele, customers, yeah.
Are you 24 hours at that
I
location?
don't know. I think they are, actually, but I'm not sure.
I'm not there that late, so I don't know either. That's a good question. I'll check. Let us know.
Okay.
Time of operation stuff. Okay, I'm good right now. Thank you.
Just for clarity, you're not talking about eliminating the curb cut on Empire, right? You're talking
Correct.
about the other.
Yes, that will
the
remain.
existing plank road curb cut would go, and then a new one would be created.
Correct. The Empire Boulevard one will be preserved.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Hana, thank you for that presentation. It sounds like you do have some flexibility on the number of parking spaces that you need, and the code says one thing, and I'm going to look at Pete, our counsel here, but as far as I understand, I think there is some flexibility that the planning board has as far as those requirements. And when you said banking, would you consider an additional landscape buffer on the east side of the property instead of, I guess, waiting to see what happens as far as expanding?
Well, in my experience, banking means, the site can accommodate the parking requirement, but is it really practical to provide that much parking based on the specific use? So we have the space to do it, but do we have to? Not really, but yes, that area would become more of a green space type landscaping situation if we don't have to pave it.
Do you know what the construction schedule would look like for the proposed build-out at this point?
Oh, maybe this summer, midsummer.
It's like a seasonal, like 3 months in and out?
I'm not really sure about that. Probably more like 6 months.
No further questions right now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, anyone from the audience like to speak to this application? Okay, the planning office did receive one comment from Russell Vicari, 489 Plank Road. And our staff transcribed this. I believe it was a phone call? Okay. So I will read this just for the record. This is a neighbor that's on Plank, just to the,
Seems like it would be across the street.
489. So I think it's maybe the first or the second residential lot across the street.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this gentleman's comments are, the store is open 24 hours. Store should close when other areas' stores close. Requesting change of 2 hours of operation. Light spillage into neighboring properties. Lighting remains on 24 hours. Proposed plans includes more gas pumps and canopy with additional lighting. Concern for safety issues, including traffic, illegal activities, frequent accidents, and police presence due to activities. So that's what was transcribed. That was the public comment. Okay, anything else from the board? Peter? Nope. Okay, any closing comments?
Yeah, just please contact me if you have any more questions, and I appreciate the opportunity to present to you tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we will call number 3 closed and move on to number 4.
All right, public hearing, application number 4 from BME Associates, 800 Parker Hill Drive, Suite 300, Rochester, New York, 14625. On behalf of Penfield, New York Partners, LLC, requests under Chapter 250, Article 11.2, Article 12.2, and Article 13.2 of the Code of the Town of Penfield for preliminary/final subdivision and site plan approval and a conditional use permit for proposed mixed-use development at 1801 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road. The proposal includes the phased development of a 6,185 square foot commercial space on 3.82 acres for Lot 1 and a 4-story residential apartment building, 13,100 square feet on 1.1 acres, Lot 2, in addition to associated site improvements. The property at 1801 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road, New York 14526 is now or formerly owned by Penfield New York Partners, LLC, and zoned Mixed-Use Development District, MUD. Application number 26P007, SBL number 125.01-1-33.11.
Good evening. My name is Peter Vars from BME Associates, appearing tonight on behalf of Penfield NY Partners, LLC. With me in attendance is the owner of the property and the owner of Penfield NY Partners, LLC, Mr. Matt Lester. As mentioned, we're here to request subdivision, site plan, and a conditional use permit approval for a proposed mixed-use development to be located on 5 acres at 1801 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road, known as, I think we all know it as formerly, it was the Grossman's Farm Market. The property's located, as you can see on the rendering on your screens, it's located on the west side of Fairport 9 Mile Point Road, New York State Route 250, north of the Penfield Square mixed-use development, and it's about 150 feet south of the Sweets Corners Road intersection with Route 250. The property occupies about 430 feet of frontage along the state highway. It's bounded to the south by the Penfield Square mixed-use development, and then to the west and the north of property of Bill and Debbie Wickham. The property is zoned mixed-use development district, and it is it's in a designated Zone A, which is a core mixed-use area as identified by the mixed-use design manual and the mixed-use development district. The property currently is vacant, as it was the former greenhouse operation and has basically been that way for over 10 years. It consists of the existing main building structure itself, plus greenhouses, asphalt, and stone areas. The proposal is a mixed-use development. We first brought that before this board back on May 8th of 2025 for a sketch plan review, and we received the board's letter dated May 22nd. So in preparing this preliminary and final site plan application, we took into account the 15 comments that were listed in that letter for consideration of moving the project forward. It is a mixed use of commercial, residential, and public open space uses, all designed and planned per the tenets of the mixed-use design manual. The goal is to create a destination within the mixed-use district that is focused on the social and recreation aspects and goals of that district. The developer of this property successfully developed the cannery in the village of Fairport and has also successfully developed mixed-use properties in Onondaga County. The project will propose a 2-lot, 2-phase subdivision of the 5-acre parcel. Lot 1, which will be phase 1 of the development, will be centered on the retail commercial component of the project. It will be centered on retaining the existing 4,355 square foot single-story building that is the former main structure on the property. This building's architecture will be retained and will set the tone for the architecture for the commercial component of this project. The building will be used for a restaurant/bar area, and it'll have both indoor and outdoor components, and it will be locally owned and operated by a well-established restaurateur in eastern Monroe County. It will contain about 1/3 of an acre, just over 13,000 square feet of outdoor public space, which is detailed for you on the screens before you. The intent is to make this an active space, to engage the public and to bring that social activity to the outside area, which is one of the key tenets of the mixed-use development. It was one of the key goals, was to encourage public gathering within this district, to establish it as a destination. In addition to the main structure to the right of the main structure up at the north end, there would be an additional 1,400 square foot building that would be an accessory building to the restaurant operation. It may consist restrooms in order to support the outdoor activity area and additional recreation space, possibly an indoor arcade or something like that. But it's going to be something to be compatible with the restaurant use, which is the primary desired use of the commercial component of the Lot 1. Because it is proposed as a restaurant per section 250-5.12.F1 of the Town Code, restaurants, bars, taverns are conditionally permitted non-residential uses, and thus a conditional use permit is required and has been requested as part of this application. The Planning Board has the authority to issue that conditional use permit. Lot 2 of the project, which will be phase 2 of the project, is a residential use lot. As required within the mixed-use district, we are required to provide both residential and non-residential uses with any proposed development of any tax parcel within the district. This 1.2 acre lot has been established as for that residential use. We purposely have selected to place it at the western end of the property for several reasons. First of all, we did want to take the commercial use, the non-residential use, and put it up against the New York State Highway. And that was done for a couple reasons. One is obvious visibility for the commercial operation along the State Highway. But second, it was to take that activity and put it closest to the State Highway in lieu of pushing it into the interior of the property where there's a more highly likelihood that future residential development would happen in that area. But that's also then why we placed the residential lot at the west end. It's also was cited there because if we are familiar with the Penfield Square development, just to the west of the property line, thank you, Michael, is the pedestrian spine that was constructed with Penfield Square. The intent of that spine was to create a designated multimodal pedestrian link from the YMCA to which is the southern limits of this quadrant of the mixed-use district, to provide a pedestrian link eventually from the YMCA all the way up to Atlantic Avenue. That spine is outside the property limits that the owner has, but we have designed the residential component, the residential lot, so that it would front on that spine when and if it ever was to be extended. So we were conscientious of locating the residential area. The mixed-use district has various lot standards or development standards. These are all listed on the final site plan that was submitted, but we'll go through those briefly in order to illustrate this project's compliance with the requirements of the zoning district and the zoning code. Core A requires a minimum of 20% of floor space to be non-residential. That is a floor. It is not a goal. It is a floor that must be provided. This project, with the 6,185 square feet of non-residential building plus the 13,000 square feet of the associated outdoor patio area results in just over 19,000 square feet of non-residential use space. The residential building we've shown, we basically have shown we've shown the maximum building from the standpoint for all of these metrics. It should be noted the intent for the development of this residential lot would be similar to the development of the 2 outparcel lots at Penfield Square. In other words, we will establish it as a residential use lot, which would be subject to its own final site plan review and approval based upon the purchaser of that lot and what they desire to do. But what we wanted to do in order to show zoning compliance was that the maximum use could be accommodated on the property in the lot. The building we show for residential is a 13,100 square foot building, 4 stories, which is the maximum allowed height within the district, and it's at a 52-foot height. The maximum allowed height in the district is 55 feet. That results in 52,400 total square footage of residential space. So that's what we compare our residential and non-residential percentages to. And so as I mentioned, this project provides 26.8% of non-residential use space, and thus our compliance with the Core A requirements. Building coverage, as shown, is 0.43 acres, which is 8.6% of the lot area, and total green space on this property is around 1.5 acres, or it's 30% of the project. The mixed-use district does require 20% common space, open space as in, which is different than green space. How they define the common open space is it's areas that could be used by whether it's residents, tenants, public customers, whomever may be at the property. That totals 1.06 acres, which is 21% of the property, and that's represented by the patio area and the associated lawn area around that patio. Parking is provided on the site, and it is something we do wish to address with the board. The code requires, for 41 residential units, it would require 62 spaces based on 1.5 space per unit. The commercial area is the one where we applied, I'll say, discretion in the form of the operational experience that the owner has. While the building itself is only 61, or total building square footage is just over 6,100 square feet, the code based on that would require 31 parking spaces. But as we've mentioned, we have, Michael, would you mind bringing up the detail of the outdoor area, please? Thank you. But what we have here, as you can see, we have the outdoor patio area, but then to the east is the lawn area. And that lawn area will be activated area also. You know, for instance, we're showing, cornhole boards out there. The point is it will be treated and set up so that it can be part of gathering space, activity space, congregating space. So the point is we wanted to be sure we accommodated that, the outdoor use area for the parking. As a result, we provide about 147 parking spaces in support of the non-residential uses on this property. But, and as we mentioned, it is based not only on the developer's experience, but the restaurateur's experience of what they believe they would need in order to support the successful operation of a facility like this. And part of that being is that there is no place for overflow parking. You will not be, you will not park on Route 250. There's no public streets, anything like that. So we had to be sure we could accommodate this on site. However, we acknowledged from the sketch plan hearing and the PRC comments was, that there should be discussion about, is it possible to reduce the impervious impact of so much parking. And thus, we do wish to have conversations about whether it's the use of alternative materials for the parking area and or land banking the parking spaces until, it's up and running and there's a true understanding of what the parking demand would be. This plan really, its goal and intent is to show, though, that we've right-sized the building and the outdoor space so that it can still support its parking need on the site. Whether we put it all in up front or not could be operationally determined, but we had to be sure we could accommodate the parking on the property. The parking will include designated ADA spaces, and also the site plan shows the locations of EV charging stations. The access to the property will be utilizing the existing driveway that is there that served Grossman's for years, and actually is a shared driveway because as you can see on the aerial, it extends down and serves the existing residential house that's located to the west of the property. We have prepared a traffic study for the proposed development. It has been submitted to the New York State Department of Transportation and to the town engineer's office. It's currently in the process of being reviewed. We have engaged in conversations with the town engineer's office, along with the town's traffic consultant, and along with the New York State DOT. We're aware of the 250 corridor study that was done through the mixed-use district last year, and that has been the impetus for conversations with the transportation officials. What that is, and you should have seen reference to it in the Monroe County Department of Planning's 239M review, where DOT commented, and this has been acknowledged since day one, is the driveway as shown will be a temporary driveway, in that we know it's a goal of this district that when and if the property to the north is developed, that it would create the fourth leg to the Sweets Corners Road intersection. And when that is a condition of us continuing to utilize this driveway cut, the New York State DOT is placing the condition on that once the Sweets Corners Road obtains its fourth leg or its west leg, that this driveway would be removed and the connections would be made up to that new leg, so that all the traffic would come out at what hopefully will be a new four-way intersection. The DOT also acknowledged in their county review letter, county comments, and the developer has also signaled this to the town engineer's office, that in lieu of improvements here, is that there would be a financial contribution to the improvements that would be required at that four-way intersection, that they would participate in that. And that's going to be one of the key things that is discussed during the traffic study review. Because that roadway is a temporary driveway, it was not designed as a complete street design, given the fact that it ultimately will be removed. But it does include a lot of the principles in the complete street design from the standpoint of providing landscaping, a street tree component. We also prepared the site plan to have a strong pedestrian activity, and that again is because it is a key tenet, key component of the mixed-use district. This project will continue to extend northward the sidewalk that exists along the west side of New York State Route 250 that started with the YMCA, went through Penfield Square. This will pick it up at its southeast corner and move it all the way up to its property line to the northeast corner, including striping the crosswalk that's there. That sidewalk will then also have a connection that goes right into the property to provide a direct pedestrian connection from that sidewalk into the site. As you can see on the rendering, there will be pedestrian circulation throughout the property, pedestrian circulation in and around the commercial use building and the outdoor space, again, to get the pedestrians integrating with the commercial operations. The sidewalk would then also extend to the west to provide connectivity to the residential lot, residential structure, and as noted in the PRC report, that sidewalk will also be extended to the western property line so that at the appropriate time, if and when the pedestrian spine is extended from the south, the pedestrian connection can be made. And when that does occur, what will happen is then pedestrians will have two ways if they're into this property, if they're traversing through the district, and that would either be from Route 250 or from the pedestrian spine. With regards to the open space patio area, how this building is oriented, where the patio is on the east side of the building, that in theory is going to be the little bit of the front of the house. The front of the house of the building will be its east wall and its north wall. The west wall will be back of house. As you can see on the rendering, there's a pull-off there. That would be for deliveries and whatnot and support. And then on the south side of the building would be an outdoor seasonal bar area in support of the outdoor seasonal use of the patio area. The patio area itself, excuse me, as you can see, would propose seating areas in the form of picnic tables, Adirondack chairs, fire pits. It does designate a small stage area in the southeast corner of the patio. The intent of that is small scale. We are talking 1 or 2 performers, not a full band stage. It would not have a, dedicated lighting system or sound system or anything like that. It is intended to provide, I'll use the term, light entertainment during the day and the evenings. Obviously, all of this outdoor activity would be regulated by the codes of the town of Penfield as it relates to noise, lighting, hours of operation, things like that. There is nothing in this use that has identified any special need or relief from any of the town codes in that regard. As we mentioned, then east of the patio, there would be the designated lawn area to allow for additional recreation space. We did submit a landscape plan with the proposal. It does include street trees throughout. It includes building foundation plantings for both buildings. As shown on the plan in front of you, along with perimeter plantings and buffer plantings against the single-family residential home. Lighting as proposed on the project would be as proposed as 18-foot tall LED dark sky compliant fixtures that would be around the perimeter, both to primarily to light the parking areas. As we mentioned, the site is dormant today, but its grade drops from east to west, from Route 250 to the west. There's about 14 feet of drop across the property, I think, if we're all familiar with it. But that's why that lawn area, patio area, staging area works, because it'll kind of be backing up against the slope of Route 250. So that in and of itself will shelter it and shield it. The storm, because of that east to west drainage pattern, will continue to maintain that. The stormwater management area is located in the southwest corner of the property. It will collect all of the stormwater runoff from the project. This is a redevelopment, considered a redevelopment project because of the existing buildings, the existing asphalt and gravel and stone areas there. So it does have an impervious cover to it already. But this facility has been designed per the New York State DEC Stormwater Design Manual. The Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan's been provided to the Town Engineer's Office for their review. The stormwater management area will collect the runoff. It discharges at the southwest corner. There is an existing defined drainage ditch that runs along the common property line, and that flows from east to west and eventually enters the wetland area that is located on the lands of the YMCA, actually. That is the current drainage pattern, and it will be continued to be the maintained drainage pattern in the post-development condition. We do point out that this property, because of its developed condition, does not contain any identified habitat areas, historic, archaeological sensitive areas, does not contain any natural features regulated such as wetlands or floodplains, nor any town-designated EPODs. Project will be served by public water and sewer. Water supply will be provided off of the Monroe County Water Authority's water main that's located along Route 250. Sanitary sewer will be gravity sewer that will be extended from gravity sewer that's located in Penfield Square. There's a lift station over by the assisted living building. As we've mentioned, we did receive the PRC comments. We did review those. We find that those, with no issue with being able to address those comments. We did submit a written response letter just to indicate our intent to comply with those comments, and we will follow up with the PRC on that to address those. We did prepare a long form environmental assessment form part 1. We did submit that with our application pursuant to seeker. We would request the planning board to designate themselves lead agency for the purpose of conducting the seeker review. This project requires no variances. As we mentioned, the only thing we do require in addition to the subdivision and site plan review is the conditional use permit relating to the proposed bar, restaurant, tavern use. So with that, we, or myself or Mr. Lester, could answer any questions about the site plan, the design, or the proposed operations.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. To start things off, I had a few questions. The operational hours for the commercial, is that, first of all, a year-round use? And what hours would you anticipate?
So, Matt, yeah, come on up, Matt. It is intended, the main building or the existing building, 4,000, that will be a year-round use building. It is a fully functional, it'll be a fully functional restaurant that would be open year-round.
Okay.
And the outdoor area would obviously be seasonal, i.e. it would have been very busy last Saturday type thing. But about hours of operation, Matt?
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Yes. My name is Matt Lester. Nice to meet everybody. Peter Bars, excellent job. Got to give him credit. The guy knows his stuff. The restaurant, from an operation standpoint, the intent is to test the market, open from lunch and dinner, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Weekends, if we have a demand, we'll stay open longer. If there's an event, we'll look to see what the need is for the time period. But it's a little bit unknown in upstate New York and Rochester, depending on the weather, depending on the community. If there's enough support, they'll stay open longer. If there's not, then we may give up on lunch, shorten the hours, go from Thursday to Saturday. It depends on the success of the restaurant. So the opening initial hope is lunch and dinner and evening till 11 p.m.
Okay. The new structure, the restrooms and arcade, is there a reason why that doesn't have a connection to the existing building?
Yeah, so this was modeled after an event space, not event's the wrong word, but a similar venue in Erie, Pennsylvania called Oliver's. If anyone travels to Erie, Pennsylvania, it's on the waterfront on Lake Erie.
Okay.
It's very similar. We felt that the way that functioned was really complementary to the crowd, where you could separate the restrooms from the building so that the traffic isn't interrupting your experience. So you can isolate your restroom needs from the outside and the inside.
Right. But to clarify, though, the restaurant building will have restrooms.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
it's so the outdoor
okay.
participating people aren't overwhelming the interior restrooms for the restaurant.
Okay, I guess I missed that
Yeah,
in
and
the
I didn't
package.
explain it that way,
Yeah,
so I apologize for
okay.
that. So that's really what that is, and it'll be, they'll be heated, lighted,
Mm-hmm.
insulated bathrooms. It's not a shelter type thing, but no, it's just so it doesn't overwhelm the interior restrooms. The interior restrooms would be provided based on code, based on the number of seats and all of that.
Okay.
And then the other thing too about the separation is because as you can see on that site plan, all the ADA spaces, EV spaces are along that north face. That's kind of going to be, like I said, a little bit of the front of house main entry. So we also wanted to create a wide enough area between those two uses to encourage people into the outdoor space. Because if you look on the elevations, the architectural elevations provided, along that east wall, the intent is that there'd be garage doors to open up to connect fluidly the outdoor space with the interior space also. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and obviously, we don't have elevations for Lot 2 because that would be a Phase 2.
Right.
When would you, if this project went forward, what would you think, I guess, ideally the timeline would be for Phase 1, Phase 2?
So, well, Phase 1, their goal is to start that as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay, and the good part is the building's there, a lot of the infrastructure's there, there's not a lot of grading to be done. So their goal would be to get the restaurant space open as soon as possible. With regards to the residential component, that'd be a function of finding a builder that has a
means.
a means, yeah, and a vision of what they would like to do there.
Okay, so you would market that lot
Right.
for another developer?
Likely, yes.
Yeah.
Or we may decide to enter into the multifamily space.
Okay.
There's a developer that is building quite a few multifamily units in the area.
Kind of like the out parcels were done, the way the out parcels were done next door?
Exactly, how
Yeah.
Mr. Ribeiro,
Yeah.
came in with his own
Okay.
plan. Yes,
Good example.
yep.
I may come back, but if
Sure.
someone else, go ahead.
Do you have an operator identified for the restaurant?
Yep.
And you, Mr. Varge, you mentioned that part of the model was maybe similar to what had been done at the cannery, which is fair to say has been very successful. Do you expect that level of activation here?
The cannery's 100,000 square feet,
Right.
by example. This is, what do we have, 6,000 feet?
Yeah, so the answer
Hopefully at the
is.
same pro rata share.
Okay.
Right, yeah, so, right. That's exactly it. When we reference that, first of all, that was Matt's project, it was the vision, which was to create a combination entertainment, restaurant, location facility, but nowhere near that. That's what Matt points out is so important. The cannery was 100,000 square feet of empty warehouse space. And it is what it is, but it's wildly successful.
Yeah,
but the
great.
point is, this is, to us, and this gets back to the comment I was making earlier, lessons learned, right? I mean, Matt's no longer involved with the cannery, but lessons learned, and that's why we said it was important to right-size this space. Right-size the existing, there's no major addition proposed to make it 20,000, 30,000. Right-size the outdoor space, and then based on that, making sure we were leaving enough room to park it.
That's a tough comparison just because you have Conklin Calabrese, you have Iron Smoke Distillery. I mean, that project alone basically is coupled with hundreds of thousands of square feet and a village. This is a little bit more in a rural setting. So it's a vehicular destination that is much more pedestrian. But yeah, I hope this is as successful, and this could be, one phase of multiple. I think there's 30 acres adjacent to it, and the MUD is driven to, field much of the same theme. But that would be great to see for the Penfield community. Selfishly, I'd be a customer here too. So.
Thank you.
Steve?
Thanks for your presentations, both of you. I've heard the word multimodal being used, and I guess looking at the site plan and how the commercial use is essentially set off in like what I would call like a parking island. It sounds like the restaurant, on some level, there's, when it came to the hours, for example, Mr. Lesser, you were just saying that, we'll plan to be open blank number of hours, but we'll have to adjust that based on what it ends up being. And it sounds like with parking, the similar approach where, we hope that we need 200 plus spaces, and we'll see how it goes. I guess, is that fair to say what the approach is on the parking?
That's business, right? So Jeremiah's, pick any restaurant, the Penfield Pub, we could go on and Moe's. The hope is people come here. That's the plan. We did our demographic analysis much like we did at the cannery. We like to think we know what we're doing, and we have a good experience, level of experience to pick the right concept for the right market. In this particular situation, we have an operator who is very good at this exact business, and if we don't have the customers, it's not good business to staff an empty restaurant. So we'll scale back on the hours, and we may have to win those customers over. We may have to hope other development takes place in the area, the housing at Atlantic and with Arbors. As that fills in, there'll be a much more greater demand for amenities. So yeah, it's just like anything when you have a green field, the people aren't here yet. We need to bring them here, and hopefully that'll generate more development for the community.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, Steve, is that, when you made the comment about multimodal, is what the district lacks right now is something like this. There's a lot of heavy residential components, but all those people have to drive everywhere.
They're going to the cannery.
Right, or if they just want something to eat, they have to drive. Not everything happens overnight, but it has to happen through conscientious planning, that each step has a purpose and hopefully advances the goal. That's what we think this does in two realms. One, it does introduce a viable commercial restaurant use into the district, one that would be what we hope is appealing to the public. But it also then, secondly, most importantly, provides a key item that's lacking from the district today, and that is somewhere for the residents in the district, the people that work in the district, whether it's at Penfield Square, whether it's it gives them someplace they can get there where they don't necessarily have to get in their car to get there. And as Matt said, is this the impetus that maybe somebody goes in north with a similar type use, and now you start creating that hub, that energy, and start creating that one of the main purposes of the mixed-use district was, and it's in the manual, about wanting to create a village centered on 250 and Atlantic Avenue. Well, and then you've got to have the commercial component. That's why there was the demand, the requirement that 20% of space is commercial, because it wanted to create that activity. You had to provide supportive uses to the residential areas in there. So,
thank you.
I just got a couple questions. Hi, guys. How are you? Hey, are these structures still on that property?
Yeah.
yes.
They're in a long time. They're still are there?
Yep.
Yeah.
And usable.
Yeah, they're usable. We're going to substantially improve it. I mean, we're looking to change the use of what they had as a kind of a agricultural business. More, we're going to shore it up and put a kitchen and, a restaurant there. But whoever built it did a great job. It's not just a pole barn. It's insulated. It's, I think it's 2x6. It's,
So you really don't have to do any construction, major construction on that property at all then?
a lot of site work, as you can tell. I mean, there's greenhouses and concrete
That was the other
slabs.
question too.
Yeah.
What about the soil?
Yeah.
It was, farm market for years and farming and stuff like that.
Yep. I think they sold plants, and I wasn't around what they sold, but we have obviously phase one, clean phase one,
Yep.
ready to go. So
Yeah, might want to check. I'm sure there was like a lot of fertilizer back when it was farming and stuff in there. Now, do you own the property north of there? Because Peter kept talking about Sweets Corners Road being an intersection.
point.
no, we just own the 5 acres at
Right.
this parcel. I think the Rogers owns the north, and the Wickhams own the west, and I think some other property owners on the other side of the road are in the crowd. But no, we only own the
Okay,
former.
so that's, if you guys ever purchase the property, you would continue that.
Or if
Well,
they
or
if they'd like to
anybody,
move
the
forward.
way,
yeah.
the way the state DOT has laid that out is that whoever does that,
Yeah.
we would still have to connect.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not.
It's
yeah,
like
not yours.
Johnny Cash, one piece at a time.
Right.
Okay, and then the seating and stuff is basically Adirondack chairs?
Outdoors, I don't want to commit to any specific, furniture type. These are probably the most expensive chairs you could purchase. So, we're gonna.
True.
We're hopeful that the business takes off, and then we'll continue to invest in it. We're not sure. We're not sure what we're gonna do, but it'll be. Obviously, to attract customers, you have to have
Customers and the
comfort.
entertainment you bring into it, which is my next question. Okay, so if you're operating,
Microphone, Gary.
if you're bringing entertainment and good entertainment, you're going to have a lot more people than probably, this seating type of arrangement, or if you,
Yeah, like any
accommodate everybody.
brewery, outdoor venue,
Yeah.
K2. There's a couple you could just name off the top of your head that are fun to go to and
Yeah,
be
caterers,
patrons.
well,
We're not sure exactly what the entertainment level will be. It's this isn't a rock and roll. It's not going to be a Iron Smoke. We're not going
Right.
to have 300 people and crowd surfing, all that good stuff. This is just going to be a simple background music, kind of like a cocktail
right. Well,
hour.
you know who your neighbors are, right? You got
Yeah.
the Episcopal home
Yep.
next door, as well as the other apartments.
We'll bring a piano player from Hedges. We'll
Bring
entertain
your
the
guitar
crowd.
down, and play
Yeah.
a little bit, you and Peter. All righty, I think that's all I got right now with that, those questions. The traffic going to deal with design. So this design would go up on that structure that's there.
Yep.
Thinking.
We're not 100% sure the color scheme. We may go a little bit more black roof, wall white. This is just a kind of a.
It's the existing
out
roof.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Well-
So we're gonna get the interior designers to work. Once we want to take our time, make sure we get site plan approval, and then start working on the design and interior and furniture, that kind of thing. So
Great. Thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Okay. Just two more comments I had. The front, the newest building that you'll be constructing, it'd be nice if maybe it was dressed up a little bit more, maybe because the existing building does have the cupola on the top, maybe some other features on that building instead of, the colors look nice and you got the belt going around the bottom, but just to maybe dress up that building might look nice. And then to your point on the parking, I know, we don't want, if it's real popular, certainly no parking along 250. That's got to be avoided.
Right.
Okay.
Can I ask one quick follow-up
Sure.
question? So, Mr. Vars, you had talked about considering options for reducing impervious surface associated with the parking lot. What were some of the options you were considering, and will you be able to get back to the planning board with that information?
Oh, yeah, we would do that, yes, because actually that's, how we operate, I guess, is after this evening, we will get our team together and we go through all the comments we receive, public comment, board comment, PRC comment, and it is about, okay, these are our comments received, how do we choose or wish to address them, because we know we have to address them, we don't leave them out, and then we would resubmit information and then be back to discuss it with them. So with regards to that direct comment, right, we are looking at whether we look at a mix of lawn area where you can have structural lawn areas to park on, whether it's pea gravel and things like that, that can also help with stormwater runoff, but also, again, soften, get rid of the heat island effect. Even just going to pea gravel removes the heat island effect tremendously. So those are the types of things we're thinking about.
Yeah, and this is probably more of a comment, but it sounds like a lot of the demand, especially for the outdoor space, will be in nicer weather. And so to me, those kind of alternative options seem to be like the landscape type parking seems to make more sense in the warmer months.
And the theme of this isn't, this isn't meant to be a out parcel of a shopping center. This
Right.
is, you want to feel like you're in the Hamptons and you're in nature and a little bit more of a sanctuary, botanic garden type feel, outdoors, you're sitting outside. The preference actually would be to try to incorporate a little bit more like crushed stone, pea gravel, similar to what the lake house does. If anyone's familiar with Canandaigua, they have those stone sidewalks. That's great. That's the theme and the spirit of this environment we're trying to create here. I don't know if that helps.
No,
your
because
question.
actually I think it builds off an earlier comment you made, Steve, about we really want to reduce the feeling, just as Matt said, that this is a building sitting in the middle of a parking lot, or it's an island in the middle of a big parking lot. It is not intended to, it's not an out parcel, so don't design it as one.
It's also less expensive. Win.
Thanks.
Okay. Laura Borsey?
Comments tonight are actually not solely directed at this particular proposal.
Thank you.
But to raise some concerns and questions, to look at the cumulative impacts.
Ms. Borsey, no one on the mics can hear you or for the recording, so I just want to make sure that any comments you have will be on the mic. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Laura Payne Borsey, and I live at 8 Parham Drive in Penfield. My comments this evening are not directed solely at the 1801 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road application. Rather, this project raises a broader planning question about how the town is evaluating cumulative infrastructure impacts of development across the Route 250 mixed-use development corridor. Particularly, and I'm going to raise something that most people probably won't talk about, sanitary sewer capacity. Over the past several years, the town has approved a substantial number of residential units in the MUD district, including the Arbors, Penfield Heights, and several additional projects along this corridor. And Phase 2 would bring perhaps more units. By my count, we're at 916 residential units that have already been approved in the MUD corridor that are not built or fully occupied. And there is significant undeveloped land. I actually know Peter Vars. We went to high school together. So not to throw you under the bus, Peter, and correct you, but the southern end of that MUD district actually goes one parcel beyond. Yes, thank you. One parcel beyond. It's a very substantial district. I grew up on a dairy farm. It's a lot of acres. So I think as we start looking at these proposals, we need to be having conversations that aren't in silos, that aren't looking at just the one proposal, be it looking at traffic or sanitary sewage or wastewater. We need to look at the whole MUD district and where they connect also to areas in Penfield where we know we've had some concerns about flooding with a new development that is kind of kitty corner off Jackson Road. So the kinds of questions I'm throwing out include, how does the town evaluate cumulative sanitary capacity for the Route 250 corridor? Is there a basin level or corridor level analysis that considers the total number of approved but unbuilt or unoccupied units? Has Monroe County Pure Waters reviewed the projected wastewater flows from the units already approved but not yet constructed? If so, what conclusions have been reached regarding available interceptor capacity? What assumptions are used for wastewater flow per residential flow, or residential unit rather, and are those flows tracked cumulatively as projects are approved? At what point would Monroe County or the town determine that additional sewer infrastructure improvements are required before further developments occur in the corridor? Now, you might say to yourself, what's this, middle-aged lady, doing, in this deep dive talking about sewer? I'm probably one of the only people that's read everything connected to the arbors. I understand where the Hipbrook Preserve section of the sewer had to be fixed because we had a reverse pitch by the developer. I'm not even saying that's a bad thing, but it begs the question of capacity. And so as we look at the seeker for this project and other projects moving forward, I'm asking that we look at the cumulative impacts as being as important a consideration when multiple actions may affect shared infrastructure. We know development is going to continue along this corridor. This is not small. This is a bear. All of us that live there know that. And so I just urge you to look at those cumulative impacts. This is a small proposal, but the development of this MUD sector as a whole is not small. So, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your time. I appreciate that it's Thursday and everybody's probably a little bit tired. I certainly know I am. Thank you.
Thank you. I will make the comment, besides, as you mentioned, the sewer capacity, planning for sewer, that goes, beyond the town. It's also the county. The same thing for the water, and also for the electric. And all of those factors weigh in, and sometimes there may be issues, but a project will not move forward until those are resolved or engineered.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Can I ask a question to town staff about that?
Sure.
Am I correct that there was a generic environmental impact statement prepared for the MUD district, the MUD district, quote unquote?
I believe
for
so, in
the-
2017.
Okay.
For the establishment of the MUD, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Right, I'm just curious to the extent that perhaps looked at or considered some of these issues.
Right. Yes, I'd have to look back at the specifics of it because that was before my time, but yes, I can provide that.
Just to provide you some update,
Yeah.
when we did that seeker analysis, there was a complete study of all the sanitary sewers in the 3 basins that serve the MUD unit. So we have the number of units that's allowed per each basin, and we have a calculator that how many units have we accounted for already and how many more do we still have to, room for. So we have all that been studied and analysis.
Thanks.
Okay, anyone else in the audience who would like to speak? All right, hearing none. Any more comments from the board? Okay, and
Nope.
you guys, any closing comments?
No,
Okay.
we'll respond, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Okay, we will Call public hearing number 4 closed, and now we will go into our work session.
Before we move too far off of this one, just as I'm thinking about it, we need to be aware of if, making sure we have all the right easements and everything to ensure that if they parcel off departments, that the front parcel is able to reach to the spine, and same for I know we do the cross-access north, but just sitting here thinking about, the people here getting to the spine and vice versa, that's just something we want to bear in mind.
Good, yeah, good
Go
point.
forward with that. And it's actually, I think, just having gone through that first approval with the out parcels, it seems like it would be better to have the out parcels of the residential as the base, as opposed to the other way around where we struggled to fill it with commercial. So I think this is a better way to do it.
Yeah, with this proposal, I was thinking back, with the previous mixed use, it's all residential. We're struggling to get anything commercial in. And then this project is just flipped.
Yeah.
So,
It sounds like it would be a good complement based on exactly what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
saying, and bring some of that balance that we're looking for there.
okay, so why don't we start with number 1?
Number 1. So that was the 1384 Empire Boulevard Verizon antenna. As we discussed, so this application is asking for just the conditional use permit. There's no significant site changes proposed. And so at this point, we can look at tabling pending further review. We can also consider issuing town staff to draft the Part 2 and 3 EAF if the concerns the concerns from town staff at this point are technical in nature. That could be addressed during the pre-Mylar phase if that's this kind of the same summary from the planning board members. Then we could also have town staff start drafting an approval resolution for review at the next work session.
Yeah, I think it was pretty well covered. I think we can first, we can go ahead with the Part 2, Part 3, and the EAF, if everybody's in agreement.
Yeah, overall, I think co-location is the best of
Oh, yeah.
the options. So it seems overall they've done what they can.
And they talked about, really, we have a gap in telephone coverage here too, so you don't have the same type of issues with like the 5G micro sites that we sometimes encounter. So.
Okay, anyone want to
I
make a
will
motion?
move to have town staff prepare Parts 2 and 3 of the environmental assessment form.
Tydings second.
Kanauer,
Do you want
Can
to, before you go, do you want to also have a draft approval?
Yes,
I was going to do that as a separate.
Oh,
but we
all
can
right,
do-
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Kanauer,
Kanauer, aye.
Daly,
Daly, aye.
McCooey,
McCooey, aye.
Tydings.
Tydings, aye.
And anyone to make a motion for a draft resolution?
You bet. Could I also make a motion for a draft, to direct town staff to draft a resolution for the board's consideration?
Tydings second.
Kanauer,
Kanauer, aye.
Daly,
Daly, aye.
McCooey,
McCooey, aye.
Tydings.
Tydings, aye.
Thank you. Okay, 1315 Sweets Corners.
Sorry, we didn't have a tabling resolution, though.
Well, really, that should, so the table, so the way I would have done it is move to table
Pending the.
pending the
Okay.
receipt of the draft Part 2, Part 3, and
Right.
draft approval.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So maybe make the first one just, I understood it to be a tabling resolution.
Sure.
Yes.
So-
Should we do a table?
Sure,
Okay.
pending receipt of the other documents.
Yeah, so I will make a motion to table this application pending the Part 2, Part 3 EAF and the draft resolution.
Seconded.
Kanauer,
Kanauer, aye.
Daly,
Daly, aye.
McCooey,
McCooey, aye.
Tydings.
Tydings, aye.
So like, I would just have that all be in one resolution. That's why I interrupted before, but you could do it either
No.
way. There's
I
not
can
a
use-
right or a wrong
I
way.
can use all the help I can get.
So now moving into our second public hearing. This was for the Wickham Farms Pavilion. From the town staff perspective, we're kind of waiting on for more discussion with the DEC for the path forward on the wetlands. I mean, also receiving the public comments here tonight. I think it'd be appropriate for us to table pending further review from the applicant's documents, discussion with the DEC. Yeah, I think that's.
Can I
Yeah,
ask
there-
about the applicant's statement that there was already an approved site plan, and this was an amendment really to the existing site plan? Or was that more like his perspective of it?
Well, so the existing Wickham Farms was approved at one time, correct? So
Okay.
that would be or my understanding of that.
So it really would be a modification of the original site plan in a way.
Yeah.
But at no time did they like propose this and then say, no, we're not going to do that?
Correct.
And then
Yeah,
now
my
we're coming
understanding,
back
no,
to
they-
do something
Right.
that this board had already reviewed and
That's correct.
discussed in the
Right.
past?
Yeah, it's never come to us as a sketch or anything like that
Got it.
either, so, yeah.
So they're not going to, I think the neighbors were concerned about entertainment and stuff. They can't do that, correct?
They made that statement that there would be no music.
Right.
So that would be
A condition of
ultimately.
the approval.
in the-
Right.
Can we incorporate
Approval.
that as a written condition?
So it would be a condition of approval.
Yeah.
So typically what the planning board has done in the past is they'll issue, like, when they issue an approval resolution, they'll require also that all of the entire resolution gets printed on the plan so that it's right there. So, and it would be part of the resolution, any condition like that.
So I know that, like, Steve, you had mentioned maintenance of vehicles in there. So that would potentially also be a condition of the approval, that no maintenance of vehicles would be completed in the pavilion.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't love that they're storing vehicles in it, but I certainly wouldn't want maintenance to be occurring in there as well.
And I think they do that all separate, and that they're burning across the road anyways, maintenance, just when I was over there, that's what I was told. But if you think we got it covered, we'll cover it, but yeah, I don't think they do any maintenance in that anywhere in that area. They were told across the way, but.
Right.
So they mentioned floor drains going to their retention pond, I believe.
It's a retention
Correct.
pond, correct? Yes.
Yeah, they have roof downspouts that are connected to a system right around the perimeter of the pavilion, and that'll be directed to the storm sewer that's on site, and then it's directed to their stormwater facility.
It's right there, I think, in that drawing.
Yeah, it's the purple lines. So they have, a 4-inch storm line that goes around collecting all the downspouts from the
Right.
roof. And it's then tied into this storm sewer catch basin, which then goes over to their stormwater facility down by Sweets Corners.
Do we know was the floor of that to be concrete? Or don't we know?
I think it's on the plan, yeah.
I can see if it's on the plan.
I think it is.
It did state concrete when you looked at the barn.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Rendering.
Okay, so my only concern, and I don't know if it's an issue, if there were actual drains.
I don't think there's drains in the floor.
No.
I
The
think it's
floor.
just strictly the roof downspouts. So it's
Gotcha.
collecting just the roof.
Okay,
That was what I understood from their response, which I was
Yeah.
trying to ask that specific question, and I understood based on their response that there weren't actually going to be drains in the
yeah,
floor.
because my concern was if it was stored for equipment and then something happened, then it would end up in the
storm drain,
stormwater
right.
retention area.
Yes, but that's sort of what they're designed to do, too. So, I mean, our current stormwater regulations are required to take salts and oils from parking lots, and that goes into a storm sewer facility so that they can slowly drain and kind of sink to the bottom of the stormwater rather than going and discharging into the creek that's next to it.
Makes
So that's what the whole intention of the EPA and the DEC stormwater regulations are.
Just to follow up on the question about the conditions, so you could put a condition in, but later on down the line, someone could come to a future board and seek relief from that condition. So that's kind of what they were talking about, Ms. Ranieri, I think.
Okay, and the one resident that, neighboring resident that spoke,
58 Edenfield.
yeah, so there, I haven't been back there, but there's a berm, my understanding, between that property, but it sounds like from time to time, there's an issue.
Right, so the corn maze right there, from what I hear from the comments, it may be that people get lost and then wander in, trying to find an exit and just head towards the berm, the highest point nearby, just to try and navigate. But I mean, these parcel boundaries aren't exactly survey accurate, but it looks as if the berm is on the Wickham property. But yes, of course, anyone going beyond the berm would be approaching the resident's property there.
Okay, I don't know if there's anything more we can do to address, any buffering at this point.
It's really not that close to the
Well,
boundaries.
not to the building.
Yeah.
Well, that was my reaction, I guess, to the comment was, doesn't seem particularly pertinent to the application
Right.
before us. It obviously relates to, I guess, the same parcel. I believe it's the same parcel.
Yes.
This is ongoing for years with these. the people in
Right,
the
and
back
it-
there, Edenfield. I don't know how many complaints we get on it, or, since then, but it's always been a lot of concern back there, at least from the neighbors that all live back there.
When you say neighbors that all live back there, is it just this, not to minimize these neighbors, but it's this neighborhood directly that we're looking at?
Right, that cul-de-sac.
Cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. A part of the farm actually does go down. I think that's also part of Wickham's
Yeah.
down on the, so, it would be that whole, I don't know what goes on
But
in that part of the
no
farm.
activity, guest activity happens over there, it
That I
seems
don't
like.
know.
Yeah, that looks just like growing fields or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's their sunflower thing back there, and, when they do the show back there in the summertime.
Is that where they shoot the apples and the pumpkins or something?
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff back there.
Okay, so it sounds like for this one, recommendation will table. Okay.
Pending further review of the aforementioned items.
Yes. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Kanauer,
Kanauer, aye.
Daly,
Daly, aye.
McCooey,
McCooey, aye.
Tydings.
Tydings, aye.
Okay, 480, 484 Plank.
What are the hours of operation in the LB district? I didn't think they were 24 hours.
I'll have to double check. I don't know off the top of my
I
head.
looked at it today. It's 6 to midnight, but there's discretion for the planning board, I believe, to change that in the conditional use permit, which I'm guessing is what happened here. I haven't seen the permit.
Might want to check.
Let's
Yeah.
maybe have that pulled up as part of the, whatever we're going to review. I think
Okay.
that we should take a look at that,
All right.
whatever the prior permit was. This was originally the hubcap place.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
right.
That was another question, like if they start digging back there again. Yeah, that was,
Right.
I'm sure that was contaminated way back when they owned the gas station, the tire hubcap place. So I'll leave that up to the engineer, but, because are they going to put actually a basement into that building? Yeah, so, but.
Was the place next door?
Yeah, they bought the building next door to it, and they're going to expand it out there. That's what I say.
What's the hub that you're talking
There's a
about?
hubcap, and it was a gas station prior to that for
Okay.
years, and then it was a hubcap place, an elderly gentleman, and I'm sure they
It
used
was
to.
there for decades.
Yes. But, yeah, so, I mean, there's,
Yeah.
if they start digging around, moving that soil around it, there might be some interesting things too
Well,
back there.
historic.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the EAF and it didn't reference any kind of remediation history, but it kind of surprised me given
What was there?
this apparent history. But yeah, I mean, if they're digging even just to extend the gas lines to another island, I mean, you could run into issues.
Yeah, right. Start
What's
digging
the,
down to the surface to put asphalt or grass or whatever.
What's the zoning of this area with the residential person who sent a comment?
I think that's
There-
also LB, actually.
It's in the same,
On the
Same
map, it
zoning
looked like it was LB.
Mike.
There's the old gas
Yeah,
station
that's
there,
the-
yeah.
Mike, could you just pull up the zoning on the internal
And
GIS?
an old guy living in a White House behind there.
GIS?
On the GIS, yeah, just to show the zoning of the,
Might still-
across the street.
There was a service station years ago before he put all his hubcaps in there.
Just below it, that you just turned on the zoning overlays, there we go. Yeah, so across the street is also LB.
What is it looks like it's all paved there on the resident.
Right here?
Yeah, that was the one that made that one.
to the left of the house.
I'm not sure, I mean, I'm fairly positive, I mean, we
The
can,
music store, or music,
Where we are, yeah, the property we're talking about. I was just wondering what that residential looks like. It's all paved in the back there too, but it's,
yeah, I know this is a commercial building now.
It still is, right?
Yeah.
yeah, so
so
like.
where
the-
was the resident?
I think this
It was
was the
across the
music
street.
store.
No, it was across the street.
It was across the street.
Oh, all right, by the bank entrance.
Behind.
Just
the back,
south
yeah.
of there, or
Yeah,
to the
I'm
left.
not that first or second residential lot, I'm not sure.
It was the one just adjacent to the bank, so
Oh,
to the
okay.
Yeah,
left,
that guy's
that
got
one
good
there.
business. I mean, he's cranking all the time at the gas station, the liquor store, the shop.
Well, he claims it's open 24/7, so.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we'll look at that. I
Yeah.
was curious about that because LB.
There it is. Sunoco. I assume the tanks are out of the ground.
Yeah, we should probably look at that site
Hey,
too,
let me take a look at.
for the, just how the revised lighting goes with that. The spillover to, what would it be, the east or whatever,
In the south,
south. I always get Empire
yeah.
Yeah.
mixed up.
Get AJ back as a consultant,
And the
lighting
lighting.
consultant.
There you go. I'll call him tonight.
Oh, he'll love you.
He's probably watching.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Part of the millions of people
All
out
right,
there.
what's next, Robert?
Okay, so any other items in your notes, Matt? on that one?
No, I don't believe so. So it sounds like, yeah, we will want to know or follow up with any prior approvals for extending the hours of operation and confirm the current hours of operation. Look at, or I suppose, are we requesting that the applicant submit a lighting plan? Like
Yes.
a photometric plan? Okay.
Yeah.
Cut sheets of the lighting? I know that that's something that we requested in the past.
Yes.
Okay. And I believe that those are the main points that we're looking for there. The lighting, hours of operation, and then, yeah, of course, so putting together the tabling resolution, we'll go through the comments. You know, we also discussed the parking and the options for that. We also, so we received their PRC responses yesterday, so that's why that wasn't provided to you guys tonight, because no one would have had the time to really go through them. Town staff will also provide responses to those in time. The applicant also indicated that they want some clarity on how to best design the stormwater facility and whether or not, you know, land banking, parking impacts that. In short, we're going to request the photometric plan, cut sheets for the light fixtures, confirm the hours of operation, and then also request responses to the, or I guess we'll, pending town staff's review of the most recent PRC responses.
Okay, so given that,
Can we also, I'm trying to think of the best way to follow up on this, but like Terry's point about like the potential for encountering contamination and doing earth disturbance work, I mean, can we do that, look at that as part of the seeker review? Like what would, I mean, to me, I want the applicant to have at least thought about that before they put a shovel in the ground.
Yeah, yes, we can have that as part of the tabling resolution that town staff will be tasked with reviewing that and seeking any guidance from any involved agencies in order to investigate that.
okay. So a motion to table.
Seconded.
Kanauer,
Kanauer, aye.
Daly,
Daly, aye.
McCooey,
McCooey, aye.
Tydings.
Tydings, aye.
Okay, 1801 Fairport, 9 Mile Point.
So I mean, going into this, one of the main concerns for us was the traffic study. We have shared the applicant's traffic study with the town's traffic consultant, and so we anticipate having their report back to town staff and for the planning board to review before the next meeting's drop date. So you guys will have our town consultant's review of that before the next meeting. So that would be one thing to consider in a tabling resolution. To Pete's point, confirming that all necessary easements are provided there.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't be able to do that yet, but just to be aware, like,
Right.
maybe propose where access points might be, so we don't get to the 11th hour and
Sure.
scrambling around about where it should be.
Right.
Because I just want to make sure that people on the spine can get to the restaurant and vice versa.
Yeah, so I guess that would just, maybe just a general point of further review of the provided.
Because I suspect that they will sell the residential and it won't be under.
The status of that residential home, that
Wickhams
homeowner.
live
They
there.
still live there.
Yeah.
They still live there, it's just
Yeah.
occupied. Oh, it is owned by the Wickhams?
Yeah.
Yes.
I see.
They were hoping, there were two projects that that failed that they were hoping to sell, and, you know, so they eventually they'll move, I suppose, but.
But not likely be opposed to any development or expansion in the area.
No, I think they would, I think they're probably still looking to sell their property, but I don't know that for sure, but
They need an easement to drive back there, don't they, to their house?
they probably granted,
They already
probably
got it.
reserved one when they conveyed the property.
Right.
I believe there's an easement on the final site plan that shows access
Yeah,
easement for the
there'd have
property.
to be, yeah.
Their lawyer wouldn't let them sell the front part without getting the easement.
Proposed access easement,
Yeah.
to lot 2.
Lot two.
Well, Lot
That
2,
lot 2 is the residential's, not that.
right, it's not the Wickham's home. That's to the proposed
Well, right now,
apartment.
this is all one parcel, so lot 2 is technically
Oh, okay.
for, in the future, yes, there'll be
Oh.
2 lots.
I see what you're saying. They have, okay.
Okay.
Oh, so if and when they make a deal for that, then it would be subdivided?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, aren't they subdividing it now as a part of this proposal?
Is it for subdividing too?
So,
I don't think, I don't know, I have to read the application again. I don't think it is right now.
yeah, my understanding when the initial review was that there wasn't a subdivision as part of it. I mean, there is just the one lot and the 2 phases.
It does say the application, the legal says preliminary final
They
subdivision.
did check mark it.
Okay,
so-
yeah. Then, yeah, so then, and the way that it's described there, it makes me think that, yes, so that easement would be for access to the second lot for the apartment.
Yeah.
But, like, as Pete was saying, I'm
They've already got it.
fairly certain that that easement is already, it's just that it wouldn't show up, it's not a town easement, it is access for the Wickham property owners to access through that parcel. So that is, an agreement between those 2 parcel owners, not for access.
But, we're going to want to make sure, though, that there is an access easement that will allow traffic to go across the developed parcel to the Wickham's current parcel. That's going to be more than just the current driveway, because otherwise you could be challenged for overburdening an easement. So you want to make sure that's one of the easements they need to make sure that they grant as
So
part of this.
right now, they're doing a sanitary sewer easement. Can we do it in an access and sewer easement?
Probably, you might want to look at.
Because that's going from lot 1 to lot, to the,
Like the mic.
to, in the Wickham's lot, so that it's, the sewer is on Penfield Square, so.
Okay.
So we can just make the comment to make that a sewer and access easement.
Because they might, I mean, like, the current easement might only allow, like, for the residential use of that
Right.
parcel. And so we want to make sure that if it's ever developed for commercial or apartments, that you still have the right to use it.
I agree, yeah. So this is one of their proposed easements, so.
What about parking? You mentioned parking, maybe let them park on the lawn if they don't do, is that what? You want them parking on the lawn up at 250, you have to put some restrictions for that stuff, right?
Yeah, so they're going to, but they're also going to supply some, I think there's a comment, or they're going to supply some alternative surface material.
Yeah.
Right.
Parking.
Yeah, they mentioned that.
Any idea what the restaurant is? Anybody want to take it?
Looks like they do pizza, tacos, and burgers.
That's what the rendition said.
Right, yeah.
Pete's Tacos.
That looks pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, it
We'll
does.
see.
So I just want to understand, so I'm still a little bit confused. Was the application to subdivide that?
Yes, it looks as if that you have the preliminary final site plan and subdivision, so that you have
Okay.
2 lots being created, Lot 1 being the commercial, Lot 2 being the residential off the back.
And then at the time, whomever comes in then would have to come back for site plan approval.
So you want to look at the density. Oh, yes, that's
Right.
true. And you also want to look at the density because you don't want to get a situation where I don't know how they're calculating the density of the residential, if it's just based on just a residential
Oh, yeah,
parcel.
good point.
Because we've run into that problem earlier on in the Penfield Square. If this was reversed and we were, because remember one of the out parcels that they were supposed to be commercial, but we didn't put any type of restriction on that. So they came in and they did, 25% commercial with apartments. So I'm less concerned, I think, about having it be residential because that's what people are able to fill. But we just want to look at the whole, all the density and the different uses before we finalize anything. Because if they are going to subdivide it, then it would be kind of its own parcel, but we'd like it to be considered as part of the whole 1 and 2 lots as far as the percentages.
The percentages.
Yeah, because once you subdivide them off, now you got 100% and 0%, right?
Yeah.
Instead of the 20%.
Whereas the project, it's the whole
Both lots.
1 and 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything else on this one? Okay, I move that we table this application.
Second.
Thank you.
Kanauer,
Kanauer, aye.
Daly,
Daly, aye.
McCooey,
McCooey, aye.
Tydings.
Tydings, aye.
Okay. Anything else to discuss? I think we're done.
Yeah, no, that's all the applications I had for the board today.
Okay, I'll call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.